Hello everybody, welcome back to CNS Corvettes on Friday. This is Lyle's Friday podcast. Okay guys, before we get started, I need you to do one thing for me really quick. I need you to like and subscribe. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, because the more people that do that, the more video content we can bring you. It really helps me out, and if you find the information we provide helpful, that is the single best thing you can do to help me in return. I really appreciate it in advance, so thank you. Now, let's get started. Today we're going to talk about something that I was really wrong about. About a year ago, I made a video about the futures of Corvette values in the next 18 months. Yeah, not even close. You know, we had these few things happen that kind of affected daily life. COVID, quarantine, supply chain problems, semiconductor chips not there, so they can't put new cars out. There's been a whole bunch of things, obviously, that you're well aware of that have happened in the last 16 months that took my prognostications for where Corvette values were going, wadded them up in a little ball, and threw them right out the window. So I'm going to revisit that today in the post-COVID world and kind of give you the lay of the land where Corvette values are for C5s, 6s, 7s, and even 8s today. Starting with C5s, obviously the entire used car market right now is greatly inflated because there's a real lack of new car inventory. There's a lack of great deals on new cars because they don't have any to sell you. So necessarily late model used cars of any kind and desirable used cars like Corvettes are seeing a rise in value that nobody could have predicted a year ago. God knows I didn't. So C5s, I'm seeing decent cars with decent miles on them. Nothing special. Cars that would have been in the $8,000 to $12,000 range are now showing up in the $14,000 to $16,000 range, and truly nice cars are getting back up into the 20s again, which I didn't think I would see until I was a much older, uglier man. C6 Corvettes, similar, especially the Grand Sports. Grand Sports before COVID were selling in the high 20s to low 30s. We're now seeing them in the mid 30s all the way up to low 40s, at least from what I'm seeing in the sites that I monitor. My concern about this with the market the way it's going, especially with C5s and C6s, is that once they do start producing new cars again and deals do start happening, that people who buy those cars today are going to see a dramatic downward shift in the values of the vehicles they bought over the next 2 years. If you love your car, that's great, but nobody wants to lose more money than necessary on a car. C7s are doing something that I didn't think I would see ever. I am seeing 2014, 15, 16, even just Stingrays with 30, 40,000 miles on them, 40, 50,000 miles on them, that are in nice shape. They are at dealerships here in my area for within $2,000 to $3,000 of what they stickered for new back in 2014, 2015. The Grand Sports and the Z06s are way up there. They're not quite to where their stickers would have been because they're newer cars, but their values are way up as well. So if you have a C7 and you're thinking about selling it, now, today is the time. It's not going up anymore, but it's going to start going down. If you have a C7 you want to sell, I repeat, sell it now. If you're waiting on a C8, don't wait till your C8 comes in, because by the time that C8 comes in a year and a half or 2 years, the market may be a very different place, and you may be very upset with what that C7 is worth at that time. C8s. The C8s are, well, you can't find them. Well, you can find them, but they're on dealer lots with 200 or 300 miles on them as used cars, and they're getting somewhere around a $30,000 premium for a C8 Corvette. Not to say the cars aren't worth it, because they're a stupid bargain at 60, 65 grand. They're still a good deal at 95 grand. But again, once those cars' production ramps up and there's more and more of them on the street, and the supply goes down, the demand goes down, and the supply goes up, necessarily prices will go down. So if you've got a ton of money and you just can't live another day without a C8, I'm right there with you, except I don't have the money. But I can understand going to buy one so you can enjoy it and have it. But understand that that premium you're paying today is for the privilege of being one of the few to be driving one of those cars on a daily basis now, as opposed to a year and a half or 2 years from now. Chevrolet this week just put out a teaser trailer of the 2023 Z06. Engine sounds on a track. Didn't see the car, but you could sure as heck hear it. Thing howls like mad. It sounds awesome. They're supposed to unveil that car later this fall, and then it will become available in 2022 as a 23 model. And Lord knows what that's going to do as far as what it's going to cost or how it's going to affect sales and availability of the base C8, because all of a sudden there's going to be a real rock star on the block that's going to make the C8 Stingray look a lot more tame than what it looks like today, because we have nothing to compare it to. So keep that in mind. If you go to Chevrolet.com, you can see that little clip. I highly recommend you do it because it sounds like a Ferrari 458. That 5.5 liter flat plane crank V8 really makes some amazing noises, and I cannot wait to hear one and hopefully drive one in person. Well, I'd be interested in hearing your thoughts about what you're seeing in your area on values. Make sure to comment below, and I do my very best to answer every comment. So if you tell me what you're seeing in your neck of the woods regarding Corvette prices and availability, and if you have questions about the Corvette market, ask them down here, and I'll do my best to give you a solid, reliable answer. Hopefully one that was much more reliable than my last guess a year ago. Anyway, I hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.